In the modern history of international football, some rivalries are built on totally even terms. It's a constant, back-and-forth struggle where victory is traded like blows between heavyweight fighters. But other rivalries, they mutate into a cold, terrifying psychological curse. 3 nights ago, under the blinding lights of Dallas Stadium in Texas, the ultimate modern football empire was systematically dismantled. France versus Spain. It was billed as the most expensive, highly anticipated semi-final blockbuster in World Cup history. We were supposed to see a star-studded French frontline of Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembélé, and Mikel Oyarzabal poised to seek absolute vengeance for their Euro 2024 exit. Instead, it became a tragedy. Spain didn't just win 2-0 to book their spot in the World Cup final. They completely locked France inside a tactical labyrinth.
So how exactly do you break a footballing empire? Well, for the 3rd consecutive summer, La Roja has broken French hearts, establishing themselves as the absolute, undisputed nemesis of Les Bleus. From tactical breakdowns in midfield to devastating injuries and even some late-game referee controversies, the French era has officially met its brutal end. Okay, let's dive into this explainer. This is the inside story of the night Spain permanently broke the French Empire and exactly how they managed to pull it off.
To see exactly where the first defensive cracks appeared in the French armor, we have to look at the opening half of the match. To really grasp the depth of the Spanish masterclass, we need to look at how incredibly fast they capitalized on their setup. Manager Luis de la Fuente deployed this hyper-intelligent, shifting shape that was perfectly designed to stretch the French defense. And the first major blow landed in the 21st minute. Winger Lamine Yamal, who, by the way, was playing just a day after his 19th birthday, used his blistering spatial acceleration to completely beat Lucas Digne inside the 18-yard box, drawing a very clear contact foul. Mikel Oyarzabal stepped right up to the spot, demonstrating just ice-cold composure to smash the penalty past spot kick specialist Mike Magnan. It was Oyarzabal's 5th goal of this historic tournament, completely cementing his status as the clinical engine of Spain's offensive front. But guys, the tactical scales tipped even further just 8 minutes later. William Saliba, the absolute undisputed anchor of a French defense that had just kept 3 consecutive clean sheets, collapsed to the turf with a severe tournament-ending back injury. He reportedly told his teammates, "My back is gone." Stripped of their defensive general, the structural armor of France began to violently crack. Maxence Lacroix was forced to step in, which left the backline completely exposed to Spain's lightning-fast transitional play. Moving into the second half, what we witnessed was nothing short of a tactical midfield masterclass from Spain. France was trailing for the very first time in this entire tournament, right? So the pressure was entirely on Didier Deschamps to find a response. But with Saliba sidelined, the second half break proved that Spain's tactical pragmatism was simply way too hot to handle. In the 58th minute, Pedro Porro executed a sequence of absolute geometric beauty. Overlapping deep down the right wing, Porro initiated a lightning-fast palatial 1-2 exchange with Dani Olmo. Olmo's return pass was delivered with microscopic precision, just cutting right through the static French lines. Porro collected the ball impeccably on the run and buried a devastating low-line strike directly into the bottom corner of the net to make it 2-0. At that moment, Spain had achieved complete spatial control of the match. So how on earth did Spain maintain this level of dominance? Facing a 2-goal deficit, Deschamps scrambled on his bench. He aggressively subbed on young stars Desiree Doué and Ryan Cherki to try and inject some vertical pace. But Spain's imperial midfield general, Rodri, alongside Fabien Ruiz, completely choked out the central corridors. Whenever France attempted to progress the ball, they suddenly found themselves outnumbered 3-2 in the middle of the park. They were systematically forced into horizontal passing patterns, which inevitably led to an astonishing wave of sloppy technical errors. Well, the answer to why France just could not counterattack lies in one man, Rodri. His performance was virtually flawless. 82 touches, 59 precise passes, 100% success rate in aerial duels. And get this, he was dribbled past exactly 0 times. 0! Whenever France wanted to play at full speed, Rodri made sure the game was played at Spain's pace, totally neutralizing all of France's transitional speed. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room. What happened to the French king? What about the man who was supposed to practically carry France to back-to-back World Championship finals? Kylian Mbappe's evening was a painful study in complete isolation. Post-match statistics revealed a brutal historic reality for him. For only the 2nd time in his last 15 World Cup appearances, the French captain failed to register a single shot on target. None. He took 3 shots in total, but failed to test Unai Simon even once. Whenever he drifted left, Pedro Porro or Rodri quickly shuffled across to smother him. Whenever he drifted inside, the Spanish center backs just stayed incredibly compact. And this number right here, 34, it brilliantly illustrates his absolute starvation on the pitch. Mbappé had a mere 34 touches across the entire 90 minutes. To put that into perspective, he had the fewest touches of the match in the first half with just 14. And out of those 34 total touches, only 7 actually occurred inside the Spanish penalty area. He won only 2 of his 11 duels and lost possession 14 times. He was literally cut off from the game. Naturally, Mbappé's isolation dragged down the entire French squad, causing a massive discrepancy in expected goals, which is basically a metric that measures the quality of a team's scoring chances. Spain sat comfortably at 1.63, while France managed an astonishingly low 0.30. This is a masterclass in how controlling space essentially turns off your opponent's creative engine. Think about it. France was the second highest scoring team before the semifinals, yet here, an attack featuring Ousmane Dembélé, Mikel Oyarzabal, Bradley Barcola, and Mbappé was completely starved of service. They created 0 big chances all night. Absolutely wild. As the match started slipping away, the boiling frustration from the French side literally bubbled over. In the 77th minute, a major moment of controversy erupted. Lamine Yamal made this deep tackle from behind that caught Mbappe's ankle, leaving the French captain writhing on the ground in visible pain. However, referee Yvan Barton chose not to issue a card and just allowed play to continue. This sparked vehement, furious protests from Didier Deschamps on the touchline. Regardless of where you stand on the referee's decision, it perfectly symbolized the helpless, agonizing final moments of France's tournament. In the aftermath, Didier Deschamps' post-game assessment was honestly incredibly telling. Despite his obvious touchline frustrations, he flat-out admitted, but the primary reason is that we were second best. In this match, Spain showed something extra. It's a pretty somber acknowledgement from a man who is stepping down after a 14-year reign as manager. Spain didn't just win, they displayed absolute, undeniable dominance. Which really leaves us with this final, provocative question. As Spain marches confidently into the 2026 World Cup final, looking every bit like an unstoppable machine, France is left picking up the pieces of a shattered era. What we've really learned from this matchup is that in modern football, ultimate tactical, spatial control can completely dismantle even the most terrifying collection of individual talent. With their manager departing and their superstar captain completely neutralized on the biggest stage, how long will it actually take for France to rebuild their fallen empire? And maybe more importantly, is there any team left in the world that can stop this Spanish masterclass? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.